Hi there and welcome to Thursdays with Annette at 2 o'clock or wherever time it is in your part of the world right now. I'm super excited about today's topic because we're going to be talking about how to avoid gaining weight in the lead up to Christmas. Because to be honest with you, if you just ate whatever you wanted on the 25th of December, I really don't think it'd be a problem. So really it is all the parties and all the events and all the things that happen leading up to Christmas that can be the big problem. So I've got 10 fabulous tips for you today. So make sure you've got pen and paper ready so you can make some notes. Now, let's talk about last week's show. I was in Sydney with my beautiful daughter Jenna, and a lot of comments about her fabulous kitchen. I know, I want that kitchen too. But there were some other comments that I just thought I'd share with you because I really love when people write comments. Now, Jennifer thought the El Dorado salad, which is what I made last week in Jenna's kitchen, was fabulous and is going to make this for her friend's barbecue coming up. So I thought, great. Now, Fran wrote, I love watching you make your recipes. They're so inspirational. Thank you, Fran. She says that she must be a visual learner because even though I own all of your books for ages, it's only after I see your videos that I make some of the recipes. Trisha, hi Annette, I'm watching you from the UK. Hello over there, lovely. How are you? Oh, I'm terrible with accents, aren't I? And Trisha was in Budrum this year and brought a copy of book 4 and she loves it. So isn't that fantastic? Barbara said she's having the salad for dinner tonight with some low-fat ham. I hope you enjoyed it, Barbara. Now, Chris Barclay wrote a comment. That daughter of yours is stunning. Well, he might be a bit biased because he's Jenna's husband. And Faye wrote that she wondered if she could tempt her husband to finally have an El Dorado salad as he considers salad rabbit food. She's going to give it a try. So Faye, good luck with that. Now, of course, we had 3 fabulous winners from the show. Drum roll, please. We have the fantastic Rhonda Treelaw. Now, she said she never wins anything. So, hello, winner, winner, chicken dinner. So, Rhonda has won a personally signed copy of Book 7 because, of course, the El Dorado salad is in Book 7. Claire Young, winner, winner. And Mick Hanby, who said it made his day to find out he was a winner from last week's show. So I'm glad about that, Mick. So I wonder what's going to be given away this week because I think it's a bit fabulous, so stay tuned for later on. So let's get into the show because we've got 10 great tips that I want to share with you because I think it's really important to have some strategies leading up to the big day, the 25th. Now, let's start with tip 1. Now, this is something that I do all the time. And I think it's why I've been able to maintain my weight so well. So take heed of this number 1 tip. It's a big one. So what I do is if there's an event coming up or I've had a big event, I will cut down the day before or the day after or sometimes for a couple of days to help balance out the calories and the fats that I've had when I've overindulged. Now, for example, last weekend I was on a cruise out of Sydney with my gorgeous 88-year-old mum, Faye, and my 2 fabulous sisters. And if any of you have been on a cruise, stop it right now. You know how hard it is to just eat a piece of carrot for dinner. It's so full on, isn't it, the food? And so what I did when I came back on Monday, because I kind of felt like I was really overeating as well, you know, I think you get sick of all the food after a few days, but in the beginning it seems such a good idea, doesn't it? Well, I did my very best, okay? There's no halo, but I did my best. And as I said, if you've been on a cruise, you know it's a little bit of a challenge. But what I did was on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, I cut down. I just had 2 shakes, you know, breakfast and lunch, and then I had a lovely nice dinner. Like last night we had the vegetarian lasagna from Book 1 with a bit of salad. So I picked, you know, really lean, healthy choices for those few days. And I popped on the scales this morning just out of curiosity to see if the cruise had really done some damage, and I weighed exactly what I weighed a month ago. And this is the tip, you know, plan ahead, think about strategies. Cut down a few days before, day after, because when you have those calorific days, this is the best way to balance it out. So that's tip 1. Now, tip 2 is don't go to an event starving. It's a little bit like when you go shopping you grocery shop and you're starving, you buy all this food because, you're in that mode. Same with going to an event. Like, they say that when we first arrive, we're often very thirsty and we're hungry because we've been getting ready. You're arriving at a place, so you're busy, busy, busy. Now, if you've arrived at an event at 7:30 and, dinner's or not coming till about 8 or 8:30, you're going to be hungry, aren't you? So all those little savouries and hors d'oeuvres are going to be very tempting to you. So what I do is I normally have an apple or a pear or a banana just before I leave. Before I put my lippy on, because, you don't want to mess your lipstick up. And it really takes the edge off the evening. And so this really works for me. And I hope these tips are going to work for you too, because it really will make a difference on how you go when you weigh in after Christmas. Now, the next one that's really important is exercise. Look, this is the perfect time to start increasing your exercise. Get out there. It's not super hot yet. There's good days happening. Get out in the morning or after work, whenever you can do it, because it really will help you balance out those extra calories that you're going to consume with all these activities coming up to Christmas. Just get a friend maybe and say, look, how about we walk until Christmas? Let's just do it for, how many weeks is it till Christmas? I'm not sure, maybe 6. And this way then you've just got that commitment, and then hopefully it gets a habit for you and you want to continue after Christmas as well. But really increasing your exercise will really help balance out those calories, so that's a really good tip. Now, number 4, this is another important one, and I do this all the time, is swap the meals. Now, what I mean by that is, I'll give you an example. A couple of weeks ago, I went out to this fabulous lunch. Me and Diane were looking a bit fabulous for a Pink October event. And I had this beautiful piece of salmon with some broccolini and some potatoes. And I tucked in, I loved it. And then we had this dessert. And when I came home, it was dinner time. Bill said to me, because my fabulous husband was, going to cook that night, he said, "What do you want for dinner?" I wasn't really that hungry, but I did want something. So what I did is I just had a shake and it was fantastic. But what I do otherwise is I'll have lunch for dinner. And this is what I mean by swapping it over. So if you've had a really big breakfast, say you've gone to a breakfast event, then maybe have a light lunch, that may be what you would have for breakfast, because if you've had eggs on toast and all this sort of stuff, then maybe have a bowl of cereal for lunch. Who says you can't? That's right. And if you've had a big lunch out, then have a light dinner. If you're having a big dinner, then have a light lunch and light breakfast to help balance it. So you can see it's all about getting your act, balancing it all and making sure you're right. I'll just get a drink. A bit dry. Thank you. Now, talking about drinking, this is one we need to look at. It's alcohol. La, 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 la. I know you're all saying we don't want to hear. Well, did you know that there's no real nutrition in alcohol? They say it's got some benefits, but the red wine and that, but if you drink a bottle of it, it's not going to help you, I'm sorry. Now, what you need to do is plan ahead, think about, you're going to be eating more because you've got more functions and you'll probably be drinking more. So what you can do is when you arrive at the event, just have some water or diet soft drink or something, because once again, remember I said, you often arrive very thirsty because you'll just guzzle, so that's not good. So have a couple of drinks of water before, and then when the meal comes or the event's happening, then have a couple of drinks. Now what I don't drink anymore, but what I did do when I was losing my weight is I would add the mineral water to my wine, and so I landed up only having really 1 glass, but I'd spread it out over 3 glasses, and I felt like I wasn't missing out, and I still got the taste of wine, and I was happy, and so was my weigh-in that week. I suggest that you go for the diet soft drink if you're doing spirits, the light beers, and really have less days with alcohol, have more days where you're alcohol free during the week, and just balance it out. But just remember there's lots of calories in alcohol. Now, your number 6 tip. Now, when you're out and you've got a function, you're out having a beautiful time with your friends and you're faced with a menu, what are you going to pick? So what I want you to do is I want you to really be clever with your choices, because there are some woeful things on menus, like you want to avoid the deep fried food, battered food. You want to avoid the creamy sauces, because I call them heart attack on a plate straight up, like your carbonaras and that. You just have to make it at home out of book 2 and you're happy. At this time of the year, the fish is fantastic. So, I mean, if you like seafood, then go for seafood. Like, you know, keep it as natural as possible and it'll really be delicious and very healthy for you. So when you're ordering as well, ask what's coming on the meal. Like, say, for example, you've ordered a pepper chicken. I would ask for the sauce to be served on the side, so the pepper sauce is separate. And that way you can judge how much or how little do you want to put on it. And also, are there chippies coming on that? Because I don't know about you, but if I get a dinner and it's got chips on it, I'm going to eat it. Like, you know, let's be real. So I avoid that from happening, but by telling them not to give me chips. Because I'm so much stronger when I've got the menu in my hand, but when it's in front of me and my knife and fork's ready to plough in, I'm not going to maybe do a good job. So find out what's on the menu and then choose wisely. And what I do is I normally say to them, look, I don't want chips, can I have extra vegetables or salad? The other thing you could do is, if you really want to be really clever, is have 2 entrees. I normally start with a cold entree as the first course, and the second course I'll give a hot entree, and then I'll ask for a serve of vegetables or salad, just to bulk up the meal a little bit. And I find I'm never hungry afterwards. Truly, they normally serve you enough anyway. Now, tip 7, while we're on that subject of meals, the best thing you can do is order grills. You know, get things grilled, like grilled steak, grilled fish or prawns. You don't want the fried, you know, go for the fresh is best with the seafood, as I said before, but really with your steaks and just make sure they're grilled and nothing's chucked in the deep fryer. Like, you know, a chicken cordon bleu is just about 70 grams of fat. And that's because they use the thigh, they put the cheese in, the ham, then they crumb it and deep fry it. You know, if you want to have a chicken cordon bleu, go to book 5. You know what I mean? So when you go out, just order safe choices and don't make it out that the meal is your everything. And really, it's not your last supper, people. Come on, okay. You know, when you go out to dinner, you're going to go out again. So don't feel like you deserve it or I want to spoil myself or let's have a treat. We go out for, you know, how many times in our lives? So over Christmas, just be a little bit careful and just be kind to yourself when you go out. Now, I'm also going to add something to that. Now, if you go out for dinner and you're with people and you really don't like them, you know, but they're there. The food's great, but the company is crap. Are you going to really have a great night? Well, it'll probably be a bit average. But try this scenario. You're going out, your best fizzy fabulous friends are with you, you're having such a great time, but the food's not as good as you'd hoped. Are you still going to have a great time? Yes. So don't put food as number 1. It's about going out and connecting with family and friends, and I love it because I haven't had to cook, so that's enough for me. So I hope that's a good tip for you. Now, number 8, it's the D word, dessert, which spelled backward is distress, isn't it? Stressed. Yeah, it's spelt back, and it can be that way. When we crave sweet things, we're often stressed, or we're tired, or we're anxious, and we turn to sugar. Now, part of going out is having, you know, a nice night out. How many times have you really thought, I'm still really hungry after dinner, I have to have a dessert, otherwise I'm really going to die? Most times we don't need dessert. It's all about just because we're out and there's a menu and you look at it and you go, let's have it. Can I give you a couple of tips to help you? Now, you can do one thing, which I did a lot when I was losing my weight, is I would share with my hubby, because he loves dessert. So he was very happy to share, and he seems to eat quicker than me, so I don't know whether I even got a half a serve with him, but I still got the joy of eating it and having that pleasure of being served, but ask for 2 spoons, or even 3 spoons if you've got another friend that might help you with it. The other thing that you can do as well, and this works really well, because often, as I said, we're not that hungry, is order a cappuccino or a light latte or something like that, because having that coming after dinner is often enough for you. So I'd suggest you try the cappuccino first, and if you still feel after you've had the cappuccino that you want a dessert, well then order one. But I tend to go for as much fresh as possible when I eat out, and so if they've got fruit on that menu, I would really love to have like a nice fruit plate is always fantastic, or strawberries or something fantastic. Now, number 9, I think this is a really good one because we will get this a lot over the coming season, is you'll be invited to events and be asked to bring a plate. Now, I know for a fact, and I've said this to you before, I get invited to events just because I mostly take the Mexican dip out of book 3. I know. They don't look at my face when I walk in, they just look at what's in my hands. And it is a fantastic take to any event because it's great as an entree or a nibblies or whatever. And you can make it up, you know, hours ahead before so that you're not doing it at the last minute. So that's a good one. That's out of book 3. The other thing that I do often, and I went to I'll tell you a story because, you know, I love my stories. I went to an afternoon tea a little while ago and we had to bring something. And I made my wicked chocolate cake. Stop it right now. It's fabulous, book 2. And I thought, great, I've got that. I really think, you know, I'll have a couple little bits in that, but I'll have a piece of chocolate cake with my cup of tea and I'll be fabulous. But of course, you know me, I love to talk, hello. And by the time I got to the food, they'd all eaten my cake. I know. How very dare they? There was no chocolate cake left. And of course, they all knew that it was my recipe and they all thought, well, hey, we're guilt-free as well. We can have it. So I landed up missing out. So I've found now that I always make sure I get a piece early so I don't miss out. But I can't stress enough to you, go to the cookbooks. You'll find so many great things to be able to cook and take if you have to take a plate. Now, for example, last week, the El Dorado salad. I've taken that to events. And what I do is I take it in the bowl, like I showed you last week, but I put the dressing and the little tortilla strips on when I get to the place, you know, so just dress it and do it all at the end, and I think that's always nice. So remember, bring a plate, use my recipes. Now, number 10. Okay, so now a lot of times you'll go to Christmas or pre-Christmas events and staff parties, wherever, that they'll do a buffet. Now, the best thing you can do for buffets is make sure you sit with your back to the food. So where I'm sitting right now, if I was at Sizzlers, yes, I know, Maroochydore, we still have a Sizzlers. Don't know how long it's going to be there for, but we've still got one. I would have it all behind me because that way I'm talking and conversing with everybody else. But if I was on the other side of the table, I'd be looking at all these people going up and getting things and I'd get missing out-itis and I'd know I'd want to go back more than I do by having my back to it. So please remember that. That's a really big one. Even when you go out to have a coffee with friends, don't sit looking at the big glass cake display. You know, this is called masochistic. You know, you don't want to be doing that to yourself. So just bear in mind that, you know, back to it. And I also have done with the buffets, sent my husband Billy to get me a little bit of apple crumble because I checked it out instead of me going to the desserts because there's something in me that goes, I want a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So I just send him, I don't have to put myself through it. So look, you might think that these are crazy tips. This is how I keep my weight off, folks. And I want that for you. I want you to have the most joyful season coming up because I don't know about you, but I love Christmas and all that it entails. And so if you can keep control of your weight at this time of the year, when it comes to January, my gosh, you're going to be so pleased with yourself. So the only other thing I want to say is take your good intentions with you wherever you go. And know this one final tip, imagine I'm sitting next to you when you're out. What choices would you make if I was sitting next to you? So, I mean, who knew that weight loss could be so deliciously healthy? It's fantastic. And you've got lots of choices to choose from over this silly season. Now, next week's show, I'm going to be back in the kitchen. Yes, it's my Fizzy Fabulous place, and I'm going to be making my Christmas pudding. Diane and Bill are so excited. They love a bit of pud. And so now's the time to start thinking about getting it done. It's the super easiest, quickest Christmas pudding ever. 2.1 gram of fat. I know, shut up. It's fabulous. And that's out of my Christmas section in book 2. So I can't wait for next week. But for now, let's think about what would be a good thing to help you balance over the Christmas season. I know. How about you win a box of shakes. That's right, this week's prize, 3 lucky winners are going to win either the vanilla, the iced coffee, or the wicked chocolate. You can choose which flavour you want. Worth $39, you get 14 serves, plus a 14-day weight loss menu plan in there and some recipes. So who wants to win that? Yeah, this might really help you balance out your calories leading into Christmas. Now what you've got to do is you've got to like, share, I repeat, share, and then write in the comment, let me get my little thing, hashtag simply #2good, and I will pick 3 lucky winners like I did this week that won book 7. It's all about the shakes, winner, chicken dinner. So I can't wait to see you next week. You know, we've got a few more shows before we finish up at the end of the year. And just remember to go to the website if you need any tips or information or recipes, or you want to check out the sales page. Got lots of great things going on there. So it's www.simplytoogood.com.au. I'm going to see you next week, same time, same place, but in the kitchen. Bye now.